Hey there, fellow wanderers. Imagine with me a land of rugged mountains and sun-splashed coastlines, where the salty breeze caresses your face, and the distant cry of seabirds mingles with the chatter of voices speaking a language laced with destiny. This is ancient Greece where myths were born and heroes walked the earth. As the sun sets, casting long shadows over crumbling temples, the scent of olive groves lingers in the breeze, mingling with the dry, sun-baked dust beneath your sandals. Nights here are quiet, cool, briefly merciful, but this is not a fairy tale. For all its glory, life in ancient Greece was rugged, hierarchical, and unforgiving, etched in hardship, like the geometric lines carved into black figure pottery. You probably wouldn't survive it not without divine favor and a stomach for goat stew and endless war. So, before we dive deeper, I ask only this. If this kind of raw, unvarnished truth speaks to you, click like, hit subscribe, and leave a trace of yourself in the comments. Tell me your city, your time, your state of mind. Now, dim the lights. Let the hum of your fan blend with the wind of centuries past. Let's begin. And remember, in ancient times, even survival was a luxury. You find yourself wandering amidst the ancient stones of Greece. The land, sculpted by time and conflict, stretches out before you, a tapestry of city-states that each weave their own stories. Despite the seemingly picturesque backdrop, harsh realities lurk beneath the surface. From the soaring heights of the Acropolis, you gaze down on Athens, the birthplace of democracy, where marble temples shine against the azure sky, and public spaces teem with philosophical debates and political intrigue. As you step onto the dusty roads leading from the city, historical fact becomes more than a sentence in a textbook. It envelops you in the atmosphere. The Agora, the bustling marketplace, and the heart of public life, thrums with the energy of trade and talk. Yet, negotiating the maze of stalls isn't for the faint of heart. Imagine the resonance of 100 echoing voices haggling over fresh fish, vibrant pottery, or bolts of fabric in vivid hues. Coins jingle in woven pouches as their metallic shine catches the sun's light. Each Athenian drachma mirroring a piece of a society where economy and culture collide. However, this economy is not your friend. Those who can deftly navigate it might own estates and slaves, while others struggle to procure daily bread. Society leans heavily on its rigid structures, dividing citizens from metics resident aliens and slaves, who shoulder the weight of labor unseen in the grandeur of the cityscapes. Here, in this world, every rhythm and nuance of life is shaped by social standing, and finding your footing proves unexpectedly challenging. And then there's the matter of survival in an ancient clime. Greece boasts a Mediterranean climate, with scorching heat as a seasonal guest, its intensity pulsating against your skin. The summers are unrelenting, characterized by days when the sun glares down as indomitable as a god. In contrast, the winters, though mild by northern standards, pierce through with cold winds that snake through your clothing, reminding you of nature's capriciousness. Historians still argue whether these severe climatic conditions influenced the Greek disposition towards worshipping gods that embodied natural and supernatural wonders. You'd find yourself pondering whether to pray for rain or a respite from the heat, weighing divine intervention against the harsh reality of a land where survival is a daily feat. Of course, one quirky tidbit recalls how ancient Greeks employed clever, if not always effective, solutions, such as rubble walls and communal fires, to manage the extremes of their environment. Yet imagine a time when the mysterious beauty of this world was your reality, and consider how, without modern amenities, each juncture of life demanded not just wit, but wisdom. You trudge along with cautious footsteps, feeling the hard earth underfoot, and listening to the stories the wind sings, aware that here, nothing is given, that everything is earned through trial, tenacity, and, some might say, a gesture of goodwill from those elusive, all-seeing deities. And as this adventure begins to unravel its details for you, keep in mind, the allure of ancient Greece lies not in its romanticized ideals, but in the stark reflections it offers of human endurance against backdrops both inspiring and relentless. Curiously, could you have thrived amidst these junctures of ambition and adversity? Only you can say for now, however, simply rest in the idea and let its stories lead you, step by careful step, through the corridors of time. Let the curiosity linger as you tread through this ancient world. With the land beneath you holding tales untold, and the stars above whispering of legends yet to unfold, your journey is only beginning. As our journey continues, you find yourself drawn toward the bustling hubbub of the Agora, the vibrant center of city life. Here, amid the swirl of vibrant tunics and aromatic spices, is where ancient Greece truly pulses with energy. The Agora is more than a marketplace. It's the very heart of the polis, throbbing with the commitments of trade, politics, and daily dialogues. You sidestep a merchant, his face weathered by countless Mediterranean suns, who extols the virtues of his olive oil so smooth. He claims that Aphrodite herself couldn't resist a drop. At first glance, this hub of commerce might seem a familiar scene with its booths of trinkets and trading voices negotiating the air. Yet delve a little deeper, and the landscape shifts dramatically. In this place, every transaction, every exchanged glance, could alter your fortunes. Here, the currency is not just the gleaming drachma or careful obol, but also the barter of influence and reputation. You navigate through this intricate web, conscious of your standing as either citizen, metic, or slave, each status starkly dictating your societal worth and the ease with which you can move through the world. The clash of coins as they spill from a worn pouch reminds you how every sound holds significance. Yet, amid this economic chess game, you remember the frailty of fortune. A dropped coin might roll beyond reach, symbolizing how perilously close prosperity and hardship lie. Fail to secure a foothold in this chaotic market, and you may find yourself less an esteemed citizen and more a spectator in the amphitheater of life. Imagine watching an orator on the bema, the speaker's platform, crafting words like weapons. With a deft blend of rhetoric and charisma, he might sway an assembly, influencing markets and minds alike. The Agora's democracy is vibrant here, allowing you to witness firsthand one of history's earliest experiments in self-governance. It blooms like the olive trees nearby, lush with possibilities yet deeply rooted in the inequalities of class and privilege. The institutions of economy and politics intertwine like vines on ancient columns, representing a society on the threshold of modernity. Yet, when you navigate through these political currents, it's hard not to question whose voices are truly heard above the democratic din. Historians still argue whether this early form of democracy genuinely served its people, or merely masked the dominion of the influential few. In this ancient forum, the Athenian assembly opens its arms to free men only, leaving women and slaves hushed to the periphery. Even the Agora's breathtaking symphony of voices can't disguise the fact that, as a metic or a servant, your voice would stutter at the threshold of debate. You'd find yourself relegated to the sidelines, caught in the tangle of social structures that stand like invincible walls. Yet, amid the clamor of bartering and bold discussions, the air carries a quirky tidbit from the past age of austerity crafted by the philosopher Diogenes, who eschews not only possessions but propriety itself, wholly unfazed by the bustle. This eccentric figure, as legendary in his simplicity as the gods are in their grandeur, inhabited a bare-bones barrel, thumbing his nose at the opulence around him. Imagine crossing paths with him and his cohort of ascetic followers, reminding you that wealth and worth are subjective players in life's unending comedy. As day yields to the dimming light of dusk, the familiarity of the Agora's vibrancy begins to fade. Merchants pack up their wares, under the watchful gaze of statues standing sentinel around the square. Yet, even as stalls close and the crowds thin, there remains a palpable sense of tension. This is life in ancient Greece, where survival and status intermingle in a delicate dance, dictated by the shifting sands of fortune and the unyielding grip of social hierarchies. Your role here is uncertain, fluctuating with every coin exchanged and every alliance formed. You navigate this world cautiously, absorbing its myriad scents and sounds, each whispering secrets of an age defined by its relentless pursuit of prosperity and politics. And so, as evening settles softly over the land, you retreat from the Agora, carrying with you glimpses of a world at once ancient and immeasurably lively. It's a reminder that, as much as things change, the heart of human interaction remains ever hauntingly the same. As the sun rises over rocky terrain, its warmth spreads like honey over the ancient landscape, heralding another day in Greece's storied land. You may have survived the intricate pathways of the Agora yesterday, but today the climate will test your resolve. Greece, a land of striking beauty and intense dichotomy, gifts you a climate that's both benign and demanding. As you step out into the morning light, You can feel the promise of a sweltering summer day, perhaps the chill of an unexpectedly brisk winter. In these summer months, the heat can be relentless, as if Helios himself is determined to turn up the celestial thermostat. You sweat beneath a sky so blue it almost seems unreal, the cicadas' chorus rising in the shimmering air. Each step you take stirs up dust baked golden under the sun's watchful eye. The warmth seeps into your bones, filling your mind with the promise of vineyards nourished by such fervent light. Yet the same sun can quickly turn tyrant, rendering each afternoon a battle against the oppressive weight of its fiery embrace. You've grabbed a simple fan, little more than woven reed stoves stir the air about you, hoping for relief. Still, it's hard not to envy tales of travelers who spoke of cooler coastal breezes and the solace of the shade in the north. The heat becomes a form of penance, reminding you of the labor and love poured into these lands both stubborn and fertile. Harsh as the summers are, the winters have their own challenges. Perhaps you find yourself pining for the coziness of thicker cloaks as the bracing winds descend from the north, scouring the city and sweeping through narrow streets. The scent of wood smoke might greet your senses, wafting from hearths where families huddle, where simple fare is shared amid chill-tinged laughter. Despite these climatic swings, the people of ancient Greece, much like you now, adapted with creativity born of necessity. They designed homes with tiled roofs and thick walls to moderate the temperature, while public baths and flowing fountains offered some respite from the heat. Yet, to truly endure these conditions, one learns to welcome the charms of the simpler life, such as a siesta at midday or an invigorating breeze from an open window. Ancient records tell of the Spartan phalanx, formidable in both might and endurance, marching beneath blistering sun or through the sting of a winter storm. The climate forged warriors, as much as it sculpted poets, both mind and body conditioned in tandem with the mercurial environment. Historians still argue whether such a climate played a decisive role in fashioning the stoic temperament attributed to the Spartans. In contrast, Athenians, with their maritime empire, might have harnessed the sea breezes for a life less burdened, but no less demanding. And amidst these extremes, there are lighter tales that paint a picture of resilience and humor. A quirky tidbit springs to mind: citizens stockpiling snow in underground pits, valuable as the rarest wine. Imagine raising a toast with a chilled drink under the searing sun, a nod to the ingenuity of a people determined to turn nature's gifts to their advantage. You find yourself grateful for the tapering light as the day drifts into evening. Below the clear night sky, constellations wink down at you, ancient guides for seafarers and dreamers alike. The stars, like the roads beneath your feet, are maps etched in wonder, leading the imagination far beyond everyday hardships. So, as you wrap your cloak tighter, the seasons of Greece weave their profound impact on life's tapestry, whispering tales of adaptation and endurance. Each shift in temperature reminds you of not only nature's power, but also human resilience. It's a testament to the ingenuity and fortitude required to thrive in a world as inspiring as it is unyielding, where the very air you breathe tells stories of survival. With the morning sun ushering a new day in the vibrant world of ancient Greece, your senses are immediately awakened by the rich aromas drifting through the air. The scent of baked bread mingles with the sharp tang of olives and the sweet musk of figs, creating a tapestry of fragrances as enticing as the land itself. Today, you delve into the Greek diet, a testament to resourcefulness and a hint of luxury for those fortunate enough to partake in its full splendor. Imagine beginning your day with a simple meal, a piece of barley bread dipped in wine, perhaps accompanied by a few olives. With savor of the olive's luscious oil, your palate dances to flavors tart and earthy, whispering tales of groves stretching under an endless Mediterranean sky. This is a staple diet, born of necessity and abundance, where simplicity reigns but doesn't dim the pleasure it affords. As midday approaches, you're likely to encounter other hallmarks of Greek fare. Cheeses crafted from goat and sheep's milk, softly crumbly with a tang that sharpens with age, and honey as thick and golden as the sun-splashed hills from which it's harvested. These delicacies serve as flavorful tributes to the ingenuity of culinary practices. The diet here leans heavily on the marvels of the Mediterranean: triad grains, olives, and grapes, each element harmonizing both sustenance and taste. Barley, the hard-working grain of choice, finds its way into porridge or bread, a grounding presence at every meal. Your teeth crunch into a piece of it, the texture coarse but satisfying, promising the energy essential for the day's labors. But it isn't all simple fare of bread and olives. The privileged of society might sample exotically flavored fish or savory cuts of meat, adorned with herbs such as thyme and oregano-fragrant gifts coaxed from the rocky soil. You imagine the rarity of meat in this world, where animals serve their purpose beyond sustenance, providing wool for garments and strength in fields, their lives spared for feast days or special occasions. Fish and seafood, however, are frequented visitors to the Greek table. Fresh or preserved, these oceanic offerings remind you of the seamless connection between land and sea. Whether grilled, salted, or soupy, the presence of fish in your diet mirrors a culture shaped by the tides and the bounty they bring. A quirky tidbit to savor: the Greeks had a particular fondness for garum, a fermented fish sauce so beloved it was employed with the same enthusiasm that might inspire you to douse a pasta dish in tomato sauce today. While vegetables and fruits find their place, ripe figs, juicy grapes, crunchy cucumbers, the luxury of sugar may look from a distance like a distant dream. Instead, honey serves to sweeten and delight, nurturing the Greek penchant for simple yet satisfying desserts. Yet for all the bounty, scarcity is never far from thought. A poor barley harvest or autumn storms spoiling grapes could swiftly turn abundance into deprivation. Historians still argue whether these fluctuations significantly influenced Greek expansion as a means to secure more reliable food sources. Whether driven by desire for trade routes or mere survival, the Greeks spread their culture and cuisine across seas and new lands, enduring challenges with innovation and adaptability. Throughout your day, you recall that dining is as much about community as nourishment. Meals transform into social rituals, where reclining on couches to feast marks both celebration and the sharing of ideas. You can hear the rise and fall of conversation, see philosophers debating over appetizing dishes, and storytellers revealing epics as wine flows generously, a reminder that in this world, science, politics, and art all blend over breaking bread. And so, as night falls, you finally rest. Your mouth still retains the echo of flavors and the power of a diet shaped by earth and sky, history and heart. The food of ancient Greece sustains more than the body, it feeds the spirit, weaving tales of resilience through each skilled and loving preparation. As the first light of dawn begins to paint the Greeks' ancient world in delicate hues, you step gingerly into the atmosphere, feeling the cool touch of the early breeze against your skin, a fleeting illusion of relief before the day's heat takes its hold. This morning, you turn your attention to the attire that defines your presence in this Timaean amalgam of practicality, identity, and status wrapped up quite literally in the fabric of life. In ancient Greece, your attire is as much about function as it is about expressing who you are within a community. Whether you're wandering the dusty streets of Athens or the hallowed grounds of Olympia, your garments serve as a silent testament to your place in the intricate social hierarchy. You start with the basic garment of the dia chiton, woven from wool or linen, sometimes colored a gentle pastel, yet mostly remaining undyed yet clean and crisp. This tunic falls draped upon your shoulders, often fastened with a decorative pin called a fibula, which may catch the sunlight as you move, adding a hint of sparkle to your silhouette. The chiton wraps around you, its folds both liberating and binding, granting freedom of motion while gently reminding you of society's conventions. In this world, simplicity reigns, austerity in fabric that echoes the unadorned columns of Greek temples, drawing beauty from lines and proportions rather than embellishment. Yet, even as you adjust the hem around you, you find the material occasionally heavy and scratchy against your skin, a rough reminder that comfort is a luxury not yet common to all. Wool can be thick and warm, a boon in the brisk winds of winter, but stifling in the summer heat. Linen offers a lighter embrace, though its rarity makes it a prize for those with the means to procure such fineries. You find that fashion here leans toward the immutable. Trends change with the seasons only slightly compared to the sweeping shifts we know today. The garment's longevity outlasts the flight of fads, reflecting the Greek ethos of balance and practical grace. Yet with each warp and weft, a story emerges of identity, of belonging. In this context, you're surrounded by a spectrum of styles drawn from the varied tapestry of Greek life, each garment offering clues to the wearer's origins and pursuits. The simple peplos of Sparta might compare as crude next to the adornments of Athenian apparel, yet each tells its own unique story. You see capes for travelers, hymatians for solemn occasions, and even the folds of philosophers' robes, murmuring the secrets of knowledge and inquiry. As you move through this sartorial world, it's clear that fashion serves as more than mere function or display. It is a statement of efficiency mastered by necessity. A curious tidbit comes to mind. Short tunics for men, designed to facilitate movement in battle or farming, and draped gowns for women, suggesting decorum within households. A cloak, known as the chlamys, wraps around you in a whirl of fabric, useful in fending off the evening's chill. The ingenuity of attire bridging the line between tool and finery. The color palette around you is subtle, muted by the reality of dyes derived from what nature has offered. The rarity of vibrant colors like purple, allowed by costly dyes like Tyrian, speaks volumes of the wearer's status. Historians still argue over the extent to which such colors denoted power and privilege, yet within these discussions lies recognition of fashion as an emblem of identity and aspiration, just as it remains today. Imagine discussing styles with a fellow wanderer, engaging in friendly banter about the merits of wool versus linen, exclaiming over the intricate embroidery or the wisdom of layering during the temperamental climate shifts. Fashion here is a quieter pleasure, speaking in whispers where today's trends shout. You pause to appreciate the delicate art and functionality of a well-draped chiton, or the perfect harmony achieved by the grandeur of the Himation gently pooling at your feet. With dusk settling, the light softens, subduing the vivid contrasts of fabric, and allowing the silhouettes to dance like shadows as evening takes hold. You remain encased in garments intricately linked with the rhythms of the land, the echoes of history woven among every fiber. The clothes you wear in this ancient world offer not only warmth and protection, but a connection, a gentle entanglement with the past, translating silently into a dialogue of dignity and grace. As the day unfolds before you, the sun's rays reveal not only the splendor of ancient streets, but also the intricacies of daily life that go beyond food and fashion. Today, you delve into a world where the customs of hygiene draw a vivid picture of simplicity and adaptability necessity, often paired with ingenuity and invention. The rhythms of your day are accompanied by the pursuit of cleanliness, albeit with methods strikingly different from what you might know. You begin by considering the morning routine, observing how Greek society embraces hygiene with a blend of practicality and scarcity. The fragrance of olive oil permeates the air, its rich aroma inescapable as it serves a dual purpose. Not just a dietary staple, olive oil becomes a central player in personal cleanliness. Imagine standing before a bowl, pouring the oil onto your skin, rubbing it with your hands until it glistens in the sunlight. That sounds quite luxurious, doesn't it? Yet, it's part of a pragmatic ritual, a way to cleanse and moisturize, essential in a climate that can sap moisture from skin as if it were a sponge. You'd find that soap, in the form we are familiar with today, doesn't exist. Instead, the oil is worked into the skin and then scraped away using a strigil, a curved blade made of bronze or other material, removing the accumulated dirt and sweat. There's something remarkably soothing about this tactile process, a rhythm that leaves your skin supple and refreshed. However, the idea of scraping oneself with a piece of metal might evoke more of a shudder than a sigh. This method, though seemingly antiquated, connects the Greeks with nature's bounty, forging a routine as organic as their existence. Fresh water is a luxury in many parts, brought by aqueducts and rivers into communal baths, or utilized in ceramic basins. Public baths stand as places of social gathering, where citizens cleanse away the dust of their journeys with a mingling of occupations and classes. Imagine reclining in these pools, the chorus of voices echoing off stone walls as steam gently rises around you. Yet hygiene isn't merely about the body. It's reflected in the ritualistic belief systems, where one might bathe or purify before entering a sacred space, an echo of both respect and reverence towards the divine as well as oneself. Historians still argue whether this emphasis on ritual purity laid the groundwork for modern hygiene practices or served more as an act of symbolic cleansing. In tidying the home, these habits reveal themselves, as you'd laugh discovering a quirky tidbit. The Greeks used bits of broken, unused pottery to scrape not just skin but floor sand, then cleverly repurposed them as what we today call name tags for various debates. A mundane task turned multifunctional by a resourceful mind. Of course, dental care and personal grooming don't escape similar idiosyncrasies. Tooth powders crafted from a range of ingredients from crushed shells to other mineral kelp keep smiles bright. Combating halitosis might involve chewing herbs or rinsing with concoctions your modern palate would find peculiar. Hair, too, reflects care and status. Athenians love their curls and carefully crafted styles, while Spartans favor hair cropped short for practicality in warfare. As the sun begins to set on another day, you marvel at how Hygiene, simple yet compelling cornerstone of Famines, you of the adaptability etched in the heart of Greek society. What might at first glance seem primitive reveals itself as ingenuity sculpted by necessity. The use of olive oil extends not just to body, but to life as a unifying thread, while water, precious beyond measure, splashes with purity through ancient courtyards and sacred spaces alike. As darkness drapes itself comforting and cool around you, the lessons of resourcefulness linger, inviting you to explore not just the splendor of a past world, but to admire its simplicity, interwoven with innovation. You succumb to the embrace of night, reflecting on how the simplest acts can be poetry, whether sung in clean forms or flowing waters or, perhaps both, in a world that finds beauty in blending. In the dim light that greets another crisp morning in ancient Greece, your thoughts turn to a paradox as old as time itself, the unpredictable nature of health and the curious practices that claim to restore it. Today, you find yourself entwined in the mystery of Greek healthcare, a world that balances between ritual and rationality, between the gods and the early inklings of science. As you meander through the narrowest streets of a bustling city, the legacy of Asclepius might beckon you a name that inspires both hope and reverence. Asclepius, the revered god of healing, holds sway over those seeking relief, his sanctuary a center for both supplication and recovery. These healing temples, known as Asclepia, offer sanctuary from ailments, a place where the hopeful unburden themselves, trusting in rituals that span both the spiritual and the pragmatic. Imagine reclining on the slabs of these intimate sanctuaries, or beside their mineral springs, your senses bathed in the aromatic smoke of burning incense, the chance for healing rising into the warmth of the afternoon. Here, sacred snakes, non-venomous guardians of the temple, slither amongst the pillars, their presence a reassurance, or perhaps a curious spectacle for the uninitiated. The intercession of divine powers, in tandem with early medical practice, creates an environment that is more of an experience than a remedy. However, beyond the Asclepion's reach lies a fledgling body of knowledge, doctors who operate with an air of mystery and often with substances purported to heal. The esteemed Hippocrates himself emerges as a student of the body, focusing on imbalance in the humors that constitute its health: blood, black bile, yellow bile, and phlegm. The balance or imbalance of these fluids shapes your experience of wellness or malady, a methodical approach bordering on mystical, yet signaling the dawn of rational exploration in medicine. Each visit to a physician might see you prescribed remedies from the earth, herbs, concoctions, and poultices profoundly unfamiliar, yet buoyed by tradition. A small cup of diluted wine might ease the pains of the stomach, while mint leaves marry with honey to soothe a sore throat. Some of these remedies bear a striking resemblance to modern practices, while others might leave you dubious, whispering echoes of snake oil rather than salvation. Within the philosophical dialogues, a debate unfolds, weaving its tendrils through time. Historians still argue whether the Greeks pioneered an integrative system combining empirical evidence with religious insights, or whether their practices simply followed tradition until science displaced superstition. What's clear is that Greek approaches to medicine merged empirical observation with spiritual awe, creating a confluence that extended well beyond physical ailment. Then, there are the quirky remedies you stumble upon, adding their distinctive flavor to the swirling narrative of Greek healthcare. The use of fermented donkey milk, for instance, might pique your curiosity or provoke a chuckle. Yet for the Greeks, it's a credible poultice to soften the skin and rejuvenate health. These peculiar practices dot the landscape, lending humor as they reveal a society reaching tirelessly for the light of understanding, though the darkness is vast. And so, as the day wanes and twilight tenderly settles in, the healing tapestry of ancient Greece stretches before you, a complex weave of myth, practice, and aspiration. In this world, where shadows and knowledge dance, healthcare is both art and science, an adventure of discovery fraught with trial and twinge of hope. Finally, as night descends and stars kindle the sky, you settle with a newfound appreciation for the path of curiosity and faith intertwined. Echoes of soft incantations might remain, mingling with the stirrings of the night, prompting you to wander ever deeper into the stories that weave health and harmony through the ancient, enduring world. In the soft light of a new day, as the structures of ancient Greece take on the warm glow of early morning, you turn your attention to a facet of life that speaks volumes about the social dynamics: slavery. You may be surprised by its pervasive influence, yet, as you wander through this complex society, you find that understanding this complex and multifaceted institution is crucial to grasping the ancient world. Imagine walking through the streets, where the dividing lines between free citizens, metics, and slaves blur and blend within the daily rhythms. In a society renowned for its philosophical offspring and democratic aspirations, slavery exists as an enigmatic contradiction and necessity in a world that simultaneously celebrates freedom and equality for some. The presence of slaves in Greek society is as intrinsic as the stones that pave the Agora. They are woven into the very fabric of daily life, tasked with duties ranging from domestic service to skilled craftsmanship, essential in maintaining the operations of households and the economy. You might glance at a bustling workshop overseen by a master craftsman, only to find that much of the labor falls to these nameless yet crucial individuals. Slavery in Greece is not monolithic. It transcends one-dimensional narratives. In Athens, slaves partake in a range of responsibilities from cooking and cleaning to tutoring a young citizen in mathematics. In regions like Sparta, helots, a unique class of serfs, diligently work the fields, their status hovering somewhere between enslaved and free. Historians still argue whether the labor of helots truly buttressed the Spartan way of life, or if their oppression sowed the seeds of frequent unrest and tension. Your path through this intricate world reveals curious tales and quirky tidbits. For example, in Athens, a slave could be a skilled artisan or banker, trusted with intricate tasks, yet remain eternally bound regardless of intellectual or industrial merit. In some cases, slaves achieve their freedom, either through purchase or service, transcending invisible shackles to become metics. Think of the esteem garnered in such a transformation, when skill and opportunity align to rewrite destiny. There is an irony in how the institution of slavery, prevalent and unquestioned, somehow aligns with the forward-thinking philosophies emerging from the minds of Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle. As you sit in a symposium, you might overhear musings on ethics and governance, yet the voices of many remain silent. It creates an unmistakable tension, a division visible in every footfall upon marble stepstone between acknowledgement and denial. Encompassed within the narratives of slavery in ancient Greece, you also learn that Greek society, like any, is guided by the complexities of justice and exception. Some philosophers advocate against the institution, aligning more with a vision of universal humanity, yet these are whispers against the louder ills of practicality and economics. Imagine the humanity behind every task, as you consider that these individuals, along with their hopes, dreams, and sorrows, breathe life into chores as mundane as grinding grain and as specialized as teaching. They are mother, father, scholar, artisan, with a story waiting to be told if only history's curtain would draw back. As dusk tiptoes closer to evening, and the city slows its relentless cadence, the legacy of these shadows lingers, a solemn thread that ties together the tapestry of ancient Greece. You are reminded that this world, with its dichotomies and dreams, stands forever on the cusp of the philosophical and the practical. As the day draws to a close, the questions these stories provoke remain unanswered yet profound. Walking back through darkened streets, you ponder what it means to be free in a world shaped by ancient truths and enduring contradictions. And so, you carry forward the stories of these unknown souls, woven into the very foundation of the civilization, whispering quietly to you through the corridors of time. As the Greek sunrise paints the horizon in soft pastels, you find yourself contemplating the intimate confines of family life in ancient Greece. Here, in these close-knit groups, stories unfold as richly layered as a Greek tapestry. Families serve not just as the basic unit of society, but as centers of gravity around which personal identities and societal roles revolve. You see, to navigate the realities of Greek family life, one must understand the backdrop of patriarchy that defines its structure and decision-making dynamics. The family, or oikos, is presided over by the kyrios, usually the father or eldest male. This figure wields significant authority, overseeing not only economic affairs, but also the well-being and position of each member within the shifting framework of society. In this world, your first and last stop is your family, binding you to its rhythm, expectations, and destinies. As you move closer, a slice of daily life greets your senses. Picture women often relegated to the internal spaces of the household, weaving or managing the day-to-day tasks that keep the oikos humming smoothly. Their influence, subtly exerted, shapes the familial and social realms. Even though they remain largely absent from public spheres, they take on the roles of caretakers, preparing meals, spinning thread, and nurturing the next generation within the home's boundaries. Imagine a youthful Athenian boy eagerly soaking up lessons from his father in rhetoric and philosophy, future mentors in the arts of war, and oratory shaping him beyond the contemplation of Plato. His sister, meanwhile, learns domestic skills from her mother, perhaps preparing for her own household management upon marriage, whenever that day shall dawn. Marriage itself carries weight, orchestrated with an eye toward kinship bonds and alliances. While romantic love often takes a back seat, the marriage ceremony stands as a pivotal societal event, uniting families in festive celebration, complete with feasts and ritual libation. Here, the blending of lives mirrors the intricate negotiations that shape alliances, a dance of diplomacy and tradition beneath a mantle of festivity. Within this framework, children represent the future of the oikos, cherished yet expected to adhere to the family's standing in society. Boys are groomed to become contributing citizens or future soldiers, their paths determined by status and sometimes fortune's randomness. Girls, often married by their mid-teens, see their lives' path pivot around household duties and family honor. It's a narrative shaped by customs and kin, as inflexible as the mountains silhouetted against the dawn. Yet even amid the rigid constraints of patriarchy, there emerge acts of defiance and tender subversion. Historians still argue the extent to which women wielded indirect power in their roles, influencing through deft maneuvering within familial bounds. Conversations between sisters or mothers and daughters' quiet rebellions of shared wisdom might weave threads of change, subtle yet enduring. In this world thrives a quirky tidbit: the amphidromia, a family ceremony celebrating the 5th or 7th day after a child's birth, wherein the newborn is introduced formally to the members of the household. It's more than a ritual. It symbolizes the continuation of the family line, welcoming the newest life into its fold with prayers and blessings for prosperity and health. Evenings fall gently, casting lengthening shadows over the hearth. Here, stories are shared, songs sung, and life's quieter rituals unfold. There is laughter, too soft and illuminating, as families retreat inward to connect and share dreams beneath the stars. Each member plays a part, willingly or not, in maintaining the stability or evolution of their collective narrative. And so, as this day unfurls into night, you grasp the tapestry of ancient Greek family life, a deliberate weaving of tradition, intention, and the occasional thread of defiance. It echoes in its quiet heroism, the steadfast continuity of generations, standing as testaments to both the bonds that bind and the aspirations that set souls alight. The tranquil light of lingering embers holds promise, for within the family lies the pulse of a civilization, its dreams ever anchored in love and belonging. As the morning sun illuminates the bustling polis, your journey through ancient Greece introduces you to yet another cornerstone of societal rhythm: education. In a world where knowledge equates power, you find yourself intrigued by how this civilization nurtures the young, molding them for roles that sustain the community's legacy. Your attention first turns to the Athenian boy, whose path is shaped by a society that holds education in high regard. From the tender age of 7, he sets out on a journey, escorted to school by a pedagogos, typically an educated slave tasked with guiding and protecting the burgeoning scholar. Imagine the boy darting excitedly through streets, lined with marble statues, his heart racing with youthful curiosity. The world feels both vast and intimately personal. The curriculum is a triad of literacy, music, and physical education, centering on shaping a well-rounded citizen. Boys engage with the wisdom of poets like Homer, lines crafted in ancient tongues sung in rhythmic chants. Alphabet lessons meld with epic tales, stories of heroes and gods becoming as real as the city walls surrounding them. You can almost hear the echo of recitations bouncing off the classroom walls, an auditory tapestry of culture and articulation. While letters are vital, music cultivates the soul, teaching harmony that transcends notes to echo in societal roles. Imagine small fingers plucking lyres softly, tunes drifting skyward as the young find their voices, both musically and philosophically. The processes nurture character and grace within each student, grounding them in the kind of wisdom esteemed by mentors like Plato or Aristotle. Physical education is no less important. Education in strength and virtue demonstrated within gymnasiums, under the watchful eye of trainers. It's here that they hone bodies through wrestling, discus, and running, mirroring the athletic prowess seen in the famed competitions of Olympia. Through these endeavors, boys are instilled in the ideals of balance, which the Greeks consider divine. It's fascinating to consider that girls, while largely kept from these formal academics, receive an education more aligned with home management, pragmatic in its mastery of weaving, cooking, and child-rearing, designed to prepare them for their future roles. Yet even in the domestic sphere, whispers of learning permeate. Mothers might share the art of storytelling or impart knowledge of household management, hinting at an education unheralded by the public, yet fundamental. Historians continue to debate the extent and nature of education among girls, pondering the spaces where this unformalized learning quietly yet steadily influenced. There are tales suggesting some women, in privileged circumstances, may receive reading and writing instruction, hinting at a more fluid narrative of female education than typically portrayed. One quirky tidbit you'd encounter might be the phenomenon of sophists, itinerant teachers who traverse city-states, offering instruction in rhetoric and philosophy. These educators can be somewhat controversial as adept in reasoning, as they are at charging lofty fees, yet their influence is undeniably profound. Their lessons, somewhat traveling spectacles, convey the power of persuasion, underscoring how knowledge wields transformation well beyond the parchment and scroll. As day grows longer and shadows stretch across the schoolroom, the image of education's necessity and role deepen. Amid the sound of closing scrolls and whispered secrets lies the understanding that knowledge, wherever found, is a lifelong pursuit. As night unfurls its starry cloak across the landscape, you reflect on the echoes of learning and legacy that resonate through time. For the walls of the ancient academy have been built not just for those in their present, but for the inheritance they leave behind. And so, a love for inquiry and enlightenment, shaped by an evolving past, forms the core of a world where wisdom shapes reality quietly, yet enduringly. With the early sun casting long rays of light, you turn your attention to a domain that redefined thought itself, the realm of Greek philosophy. Today, as you step into this world of wonder and wit, your journey is one through the corridors of ancient wisdom, where questions dance like flickering candles in the winds of time, each one daring you to imagine beyond the observable. Enter the bustling city of Athens, a place teeming with life and intellect, where the streets become veritable classrooms. Philosopher Socrates, with his characteristic unkempt appearance, wanders through agoras and symposia, engaging citizens in dialogues that peel back layers of assumption. Imagine him positing a seemingly simple question, his method akin to unearthing a buried relic, careful, deliberate, and revelatory. Socrates has an exceptional knack for making simple discoveries profound, and in doing so, he invites questions rather than closure. His query might be as innocuous as "what is justice?" Yet unraveling it unleashes tides of uncertainty and insight. You observe how his persistent questioning brings even the most learned individuals to pause, illuminating their ignorance with gentle force. It's fascinating to note that Socrates never wrote his teachings down, believing that true understanding comes not from texts but from conversation, a tradition captured and immortalized by his disciple Plato. Imagine sitting in the shade of the academy, a realm Plato establishes to keep the flame of inquiry alive. Syllables spinning stories that explore the nature of reality, ethics, and the forms beyond our mortal gaze. One central tenet that might capture your attention is Plato's allegory of the cavia, brilliant and beguiling metaphor. You picture shadowy figures chained in a cave, perceiving reality only through the shadows cast against its walls. Plato urges you to embrace the labor of ascension toward the light of knowledge, to transcend the shadows and behold truth in its radiant form. You'll soon encounter another titan of thought, Aristotle, Plato's prodigious pupil, who brings with him a different lens through which to perceive the world. Aristotle's approach is distinctively empirical, a departure from Plato's idealism, embracing observation and categorization. Imagine joining Aristotle as he strides through lush fields, gathering data on life forms, the precision of his classifications building the foundation for sciences yet to come. Historians still argue whether these philosophies truly transformed society or merely mirrored its existing currents. Yet what is unarguable is their enduring influence, echoes of which reverberate through modern thought. The methods of inquiry pioneered in ancient Greece continue to challenge assumptions, recognizing wisdom's paradox. The more you learn, the clearer your ignorance becomes. Adding a quirk to your journey are the Cynics, with Diogenes as their figurehead. Picture him in broad daylight, with a lamp in hand, declaring he seeks an honest man. His unabashed lifestyle, living in a barrel and denouncing conventions, casts a radical wrinkle into philosophical discourse. Such extremes serve to remind you of the spectrum of truth-seeking, a stage where humor and profundity intermingle. As shadows lengthen and twilight envelops the city, you carry within you a veneration for the philosophical tapestry spun by these ancient thinkers. Their inquiries alight with the spark of imagination. They invite you to speculate, to question, to dare beyond the horizon known, weaving truth into the fabric of your existence. And thus, Night's encompassing embrace emphasizes the most enduring lesson, that we are all perpetual students in a universe grander than our understanding. And it is through exploration, whether through shadows or light, that we begin to grasp our place in the cosmos. This realization lulls you into the night's gentle hum, where dreams dance with questions as stars twinkle high above. As the vibrant day in ancient Greece unfolds, you are drawn toward the pulse of its collective heart, a place where stories, spectacles, and sensations converge. The theater, here, where dramatic narratives unfold against sweeping vistas, entertainment holds an influential role, blurring lines between art and reality. Picture yourself in the city of Dionysia, amid a throng of citizens eagerly assembling beneath the open sky in a grand stone amphitheater. The air is alive with anticipation as it carries the mingled scent of land and humanity, interwoven with the soft harmonics of lyre and pipes. You take your seat among the stone rows, each tier rising in concentric embrace around the orchestra, where the chorus will soon amplify the tales of gods and men. Here, the significance of drama becomes profoundly clear. The plays you are about to witness are more than just pastime. They are sacred acts, tributes to Dionysus, the god of wine, fertility, and revelry. This convergence of devotion and performance paints theatre as a conduit for civic and divine engagement, a communion between worlds earthly and ethereal. A tragedy might unfold upon the stage, characters grappling with the inexorable wills of fate. You witness the mesmerizing rise of figures such as Oedipus or Antigone, their struggles casting stark shadows of human plight, that unsettling intersection of destiny and choice. You hear choruses speaking in metrical lyric, their voices creating a tapestry of emotion that sweeps you, sinking deep into your chest. These tales are as much cautionary as they are cathartic, a social narrative exploring themes of justice, morality, and existential inquiry. Then comes comedy, a humorous counterweight to tragedy's gravitas. Imagine the rustle of expectation as Aristophanes' playful jibes and social critiques elicit laughter from the audience, providing respite from life's rigors. Through wit and satire, these plays disarm and delight, revealing the folly of human nature and the underpinnings of society by poking gentle yet incisive fun. Historians still argue about the integral roles these performances played beyond their immediate artistic intent. Were they conducted purely as cultural enrichment, or did they serve deeper political purposes, indoctrinating citizens with ideals and critiques that influenced societal discourse? In the stone echoes of these amphitheaters, you sense that the truth perhaps lies in a confluence of both artistic expression and civic reflection. Adding a quirky note to your day are competitions held among playwrights, where honed scripts and sheer creativity vie for recognition. Imagine, if you will, playwrights like Sophocles or Euripides anxiously awaiting the outcome of a dramatic festival, their works contending for laurel crowns before an audience that acts both as critic and compatriot. As the sun bows toward the horizon, casting golden halos around the descending stones of the amphitheater, you reflect on how deeply these narratives resonate with human experience. They represent a vivid painting of agony and ecstasy, hope and despair, presenting theatre as both mirror and mirage. As dusk weaves its gentle shroud, you linger in the afterglow of stories shared and emotions stirred. Theatre is far more than spectacle. It is the heartbeat of society, echoing the truths, intricacies, and follies that define the human condition. You find comfort in knowing that this art form connects past to present, enduring as an intricate dance of narrative and insight across the vastness of time. And so the day fades to twilight, but within you remain echoes of performances, a testament to the timeless blend of art and humanity. They hum a lullaby of inspirations, urging you to carry forth the magic of imagination into the realm of dreams, where the tales will mingle harmoniously with the star-strewn sky above. In the first rays of morning, awash in the ancient hues of red and gold, you now encounter the formidable world of Greek military life, where valor and strategy intertwine with the everyday. The city-states of Greece are defined and defied by their warriors, and today you step into the ranks of the hoplites, Spartan and Athenian alike, ready to march into the annals of history. Imagine standing amidst an assembly of warriors, each one clad in a bronze breastplate and helmet, the sunlight glinting off their polished surfaces. The air is thick with anticipation, and the scent of olive oil used to polish the bronzed protections. Despite the warm sun, a shiver nips at your spine, aware of the gravity that lies ahead as these soldiers hoist their shields, known as hoplons, with sheer precision honed through years of practice. You join their stride, falling in rhythm with the phalanxan impenetrable wall of shields and spears, a concert of human synchronization and strength. In this tightly packed formation, each hoplite's shield protects his neighbor, exemplifying the deep-seated Greek values of unity and fraternity. Picture the swaying walk, the thud of sandals on earth, the synchronicity that transforms individuals into a single fighting entity, heartbeat of human resolve and trust. As you march on, you encounter the distinct philosophies that lay in the heart of this martial culture, Sparta and Athens, each offering a unique narrative. In Sparta, the Agora system crafts warriors of indomitable will from a young age. Your day as a Spartan youth would be one of discipline and sacrifice, learning to endure and adapt, training rigorously to embody the pinnacle of martial excellence. The city-state celebrates valor above all, with tales of warriors who prefer the glory of death in battle to the disgrace of retreat. Then there's Athens, where, although the citizens are equally bound to military service, a balance with intellectual pursuit forms the backbone of life. Athenian generals, such as the famed Themistocles, are celebrated for their cunning not just on land, but in naval battles that sway the tides of war. Standing atop a trireme, the wind sharp against your cheeks, you command the vessel with deft precision, knowing the sea force's strength is your strategic cornerstone. You learn that historians still argue over whether the Spartan military might or Athenian naval prowess held greater influence in the shaping of ancient Greece's destiny. Yet the interplay of these forces undeniably forged a legacy of strategy, victory, and cautionary tales of hubris. A quirky tidbit unfolds in the annals of less conventional battle techniques. The famed Song of Alala, a war cry used to strike both fear and fervor in equal measures, echoes in memory. Warriors belting this phrase carry not only spears, but the pride of city-state, intent on not just surviving the battle, but embracing the honor it bestows. As dusk begins to paint the sky with streaks of purples and blues, the battlefield is not only a place of loss and triumph, but a political arena where the fate of democracy and dominion is stressed in each campaign. While channeling historical heroes, you appreciate how tactics and heroics weave a significant thread in the intricate fabric of Greek life, manifesting ideals and shaping futures. Night gently blankets the landscape, leaving a soft whisper of the day's glories and grievances. Behind you, the proud column of warriors fades into the starlit horizon. You carry forward the lessons of strategy, sacrifice, and courage, aware of how these qualities pulse within the core of every society and its tireless quest for unity, identity, and legacy. And as shadows stretch across the sands of time, you find solace in the knowledge that the core of humanity endures bravery alongside fear, a determination to protect ideals as eternal as the constellations above. Rest well, knowing these stories of valor and vulnerability will guide you long after the day's battles have receded into the realm of dreams. The sun rises once more over the sacred landscapes of ancient Greece, casting light upon the intricate tapestry of belief and devotion that wove itself into every aspect of life. Today you step into a world where religion and rituals lie at the very heart of the human experience, threading stories of gods and immortals through the fabric of daily existence. As you wander through bustling streets lined with marble columns, it becomes evident that the divine is everywhere, an enigmatic presence, guiding the lives of mortals. Temples rise majestically from the earth, their grandeur a testament to human dedication and the gods' perceived grandeur. Notice the subtle warmth of incense drifting through the open air, merging with the rhythmic prayers murmured on the wind. You venture into these hallowed spaces, greeted by magnificence and mystery. The Parthenon looms above, eternal in its beauty, a symbol of Athena's wisdom and martial might watching over Athens. Here, the air is laced with awe, reverence, and a sense of belonging. Each column, each carving tells a story of devotion, illustrating the cherished ideals embodied by deities who reside nearby, yet far beyond mortal reach. The pantheon of Greek gods is vast and vivid, each god and goddess possessing qualities and powers, reflecting the myriad facets of human nature. You might invoke Apollo, the sun god, in hope of artistic inspiration, or beseech Poseidon for safe passage on turbulent seas. Their stories, full of triumphs and flaws, provide both entertainment and moral compass, illuminating the complexities of life with their celestial light. Rituals unfurl with rhythmic regularity, their purpose layered with intent, serving as moments of community and introspection. Festivals in honor of Dionysus explode with joy and revelry, while solemn processions invoke the protective gaze of Demeter for bounteous harvests. Imagine the vivid colors and striking sounds of communal celebrations, a kaleidoscope of human emotion elevated to divine communion. Participation in these rituals threads each person into a larger tapestry beyond individual control, connecting you with the community and the cosmos. You realize that devotions, whether offered to Zeus at Olympia or Hera at Argos, stitch the temporal and the eternal together, a bridge between worlds seen and unseen. Then there are the mysterious, the secretive rites enveloped in secrecy, such as those of Eleusis, which promise initiates insights into the cycle of life, death, and rebirth. Historians still argue over the precise nature of these mysteries and the revelations they imparted, yet they remain elusive, whispering of sacred knowledge sheltered from everyday understanding. Consider as well the quirky rituals, like tossing sandals or consulting oracles, where the divine and the prosaic meet in delightful harmony. At Delphi, the oracle's cryptic pronouncements entice every seeker, shifting lives with their ambiguous truths, like sails catching the wind over a tumultuous sea. As the sun wanes and the horizon's glow dims, you reflect upon these rituals and the profound role they play in shaping society, stitching sacred truths into every breath and action. Each ritual is a narrative, each prayer a single thread within history's grand weave. Yet as the night closes in, draping the temples in a shroud of stillness, remember what lingers: the connection felt by those who sought divine wisdom long before your footsteps. Within these ancient rituals lies the enduring search for meaning, binding souls to stories told not just in whispers, but woven through the stars' light across a ceaseless sky. And as sleep descends, let the echoes of divine tales cradle you into slumber, where dreams of myth and reality intertwine. In the solemn silence of the sacred night, discover solace that the universe listens, always attentive to its seekers. As dawn unfurls across ancient Greece, a land so steeped in tradition and transformation, you find yourself irresistibly drawn toward the artistry that defines this epocha realm, where creativity blossoms in every corner and each form inspires the next. Today, your journey explores how Greek artistry shapes and reflects the grandeur of its time, a world where beauty, function, and myth converge in harmonious unity. Imagine walking through the streets of Athens, where statues stand as silent sentinels, capturing the fluid grace of the human form in stone and bronze. These figures, whether gods, athletes, or statesmen, transcend mere representation. They embody ideals, striving toward a balance between static and dynamic, permanence and life. You admire the meticulous detail, the intricate curls of hair, the curves named by nature, the mastery in the stone that makes marble muscle appear to breathe. The art of sculpture here is more than mere craftsmanship. It is a dialogue between artist and audience, form and function. There's the renowned Discobolus, mid-twirl, capturing the quintessential moment of motion frozen in time, representing the ultimate union of strength and beauty, the essence of arete, or excellence. Each statue tells a story in its posture and expression, whispering ancient ideals of harmony, proportion, and restraint. Yet, it isn't only about these grand statues. Venture into homes or public buildings, and witness the embellishments-painted pottery, recounting tales from mythology with bold strokes and vibrant hues. From the delicate scenes adorning kylixes, those small drinking cups, to the grand narratives on amphoras, these designs serve as both utility and decoration. You see scenes of heroes, epic battles, and banquets etched into the clay, each piece a storyteller, a relic humming with past glories and daily life. Let your eyes drift to the frescoes that adorn the walls, vibrant with color yet delicate in their execution, a testament to the Greeks' desire to capture life's allure and essence in every brushstroke. These images, dancing across walls, ceilings, or floors, create immersive environments that urge the viewer to reflect and dream. And then there's the theatre, perhaps the grandest art of all, where poets like Aeschylus, Sophocles, and Euripides weave emotion and intellect into living performances. The drama, from spaces shrouded in tragedy to the buoyancy of comedy, brings forth ethical dilemmas and societal critiques, transforming spectators into participants in a grand philosophical discourse. This living art form not only entertains but educates, prompting reflection, empathy, and catharsis among its audience. Historians still argue whether such forms of art were purely for aesthetic joy or played deeper roles in spiritual and social life. Yet there's no denying that each artistic endeavor, every chisel mark, and every line of verse contributes to a narrative that both captures and augments the Greek experience. Amidst these artistic treasures, you stumble across a quirky tidbit that adds a playful lilt to this dance of creativity. It is said that the artists, in jest or sincerity, sometimes painted humorous or even scandalous depictions on the undersides of pottery, private jokes hidden from immediate sight but available for discerning eyes. As the day begins to wane and shadows creep across art-dotted landscapes, the influence of Greek artistry lingers, its silent stories resonating in the spaces between heartbeats. Art, here, isn't merely ornamentation. It's an exploration, a conversation, a connection between human experience and divine inspiration, serving as a mirror through which society contemplates its most profound questions. As night envelops the grand temples, statues, and canvases, you hold on to the understanding that art is eternal, whispering truths across time, shaping identity and perspective in ways both great and subtle. You carry these impressions into the quiet, knowing each depicts a world both distant and woven into the tapestry of human experience, inviting you to dream bright and bold amid the ancient stars' soft glow. As the warmth of the new day wraps softly around you, you turn your focus toward the domestic sphere, exploring the homes and daily lives that make up the vibrant tapestry of ancient Greece. In this world, houses not only serve as shelters but as intimate spaces where familial bonds are forged and traditions are nurtured. Imagine standing before a Greek home, typically modest in appearance, with its stark, whitewashed walls reflecting the sunlight. These homes, varying in size and complexity, offer glimpses into the dichotomy of Greek life: public versus private, simple yet intricate. Structures huddle together along narrow streets, their exterior facades enclosed, embracing privacy and introspection. Cross the threshold into the andron, a foundational space where men gather. This room, adorned with decorative mosaics and furnished with reclining couches, invites conversation and contemplation. Here, the symposia unfold, gathering places for males to share stories, engage in philosophical debate, or partake in the cultural exchange so critical to city life. Your senses are caressed by the rich aroma of wine and the faint echo of laughter, a social chamber, attuned to discourse and camaraderie. Turn from the andron to the quieter, more intimate spaces where daily life breathes its repetitive but comforting cadence. Women and children inhabit these domains, the oikos extending rhythmically outward from the hearth, the heartbeat of the household. Imagine the soft rustle of wool as mothers and daughters weave, their hands moving deftly over looms, crafting both necessities and artworks that drape the body and home with vibrant artistry. The family's heart is in the courtyard, where a simple altar to Hestia, goddess of the hearth, radiates warmth and security. Here, children play, the air alive with their laughter, while meals are prepared and water is drawn from the central well. Herbs from the garden lend their fragrance to the air, curatives as much as culinary delights. Housing reflects both practicality and philosophy. Rooms are not only functional, they inwardly face the courtyard, a testament to the Greeks' embrace of privacy and community. With a blend of comfort and austerity, simplicity reigns supreme, encouraging introspection and rooted in the harmony of nature and nurture. Yet every home carries its own quirks, tales, and traditions. It's fascinating to come across diverse tidbits from various households, like a family attaching horse muzzles to prevent colts from nursing beyond weaning, a humorous nod to pragmatic innovation within the household. While exploring these intimate spaces, historians still debate the extent to which domestic architecture reflects the broader philosophical currents of the time. Was the organization of private spatial arrangements simply a response to environmental and social pressures, or did it symbolize deeper values related to ancient cultural practices? Through the window, you might catch sight of lively markets nearby, their cacophony blending with household routines, offering wheat, olive oil, and wine to sustain the table. Every family crafts its own narrative from simple acts, creating a tapestry woven from threads of connection and tradition. As dusk descends and stars punctuate the evening tide, you realize how homes in ancient Greece embody not just places of shelter, but centers for cultural continuity. Within the confines of these walls lies the tender story of life, a world wherein the songs of household voices harmonize with history's gentle, ongoing lullaby. As you settle into these reflections, night cradles the landscape once more. You rest with the knowledge that humanity, at its most sincere, is found within the walls of home, where whispered stories of love, laughter, and legacy are devoutly preserved. And you drift into the embrace of dreams, lingering in the cozy crevices of this age-old sanctuary. As the early light casts a golden hue over the enduring hills and valleys of ancient Greece, you find your thoughts drawn to the heart of its civic and legal realms, the laws and governance that lay the foundational stones of society. Greece, an intricate tapestry of city-states. Each spins its own thread of democracy, oligarchy, or tyranny, a complex weave where collective voices shape communal destiny. You begin your exploration in Athens, the cradle of democracy, where the humming Agora serves as the backdrop for political life. Here, democracy, literally ruled by the people, takes form in an early but revolutionary incarnate. Imagine joining the throng of citizens at the Phoenix, a stone platform rising above the city, where speeches ring clear into the air. Civic engagement thrives in this crucible of debate, an experiment in governance emulated for centuries to come. Within this realm, the process of choosing officials and casting votes unfolds through the compelling randomness of the Gladiator, an ancient device akin to drawing lot. It symbolizes the belief in equal opportunity, a mechanism to draw leaders from the multitude, appointing magistrates, jurymen, and officials. Yet you quickly discover that democracy here is both radical and limited. Only free-born male citizens participate, a freedom tempered by exclusion. In contrast, consider the city-state of Sparta, governed by a dual kingship interwoven with a council of elders, and the rare mixture of oligarchy and monarchy. The Spartan ethos champions discipline and austerity, a martial society less inclined toward debate and more intent on unity and order. As the structures of these political realms unfold, you embrace the spirited pursuit of legislation and function of laws. Recognizable institutions include Draco's severe Coldest, infamously harsh, but the first attempt at codifying justice. You'd reflect on how, over time, Solon's reforms tempered this severity with humanity and fairness, restructuring debt and opening pathways to citizenship, rivaled only by the world's limited examples since. Historians still argue whether these early democracies, with their experiments in egalitarianism, were moments of misguided idealism or brilliant foresight. It's a puzzle entwining the realities of human nature and societal function, a debate echoing as potently today as it did then. Adding lightness to your exploration is a quirky tidbit. The Athenian practice of ostracism, not merely removal from power, but exile by votia ceremony and function meant to ward off potential tyranny, albeit susceptible to sway by popularity contests as much as true justice. As you stand amidst these echoes of nascent democracy and governance, the lessons they impart dance between threat and promise. Here lies the recognition of laws as civilization's promise, a bulwark against chaos, a forge for common good. As dusk gently wraps the city-states, you find comfort in their shadows, the guardians, centuries in the making. These systems of governance dwell within your reflections, symbols of both human aspiration and Volterra testament to our relentless tinkering within the clay of society's edges. Night falls, cradling dreams of discourse and enlightenment, encouraging you to ponder your own role within the frameworks of governance. As you rest, these ancient ideals whisper seductively, urging you to find your place, a gentle reminder that amidst the tapestry of laws and order lies your thread, as valuable as those woven at the time when democracy itself was just beginning to shimmer into existence. As the new day's light spills over Greece's scattered islands and peninsulas, you find yourself embarking on a journey through the bustling world of trade and travel, a vital lifeblood for this fragmented geography. Each sunrise here unveils a new opportunity for exploration and exchange, where commerce breathes vitality into the city-states, binding them into a dynamic chorus of voices and ventures. Picture yourself at the bustling port of Piraeus, the maritime gateway to Athens. It's a vibrant symphony of sights and sounds, a tangle of rigging and sails snapping in the wind, mingling with the hum of traders and sailors, each one plying their wares and exchanging tales from far-flung shores. The salty sea air interweaves with the rich aroma of spiced goods, an invitation to both wanderlust and enterprise. Greece's position at the crossroads of the Mediterranean transforms her into a hub of trade. You observe ships spurred by the capricious yet guiding winds, their hulls brimming with olives, wine, and precious pottery, setting out toward ports as distant as Egypt and Phoenicia. In return, traders bring home exotic spices, metals, and grains, weaving a tapestry of goods that enrich the marketplace and diversify life. Trade in ancient Greece isn't merely a means of wealth, but a confluence of cultures, a sharing of ideas alongside material goods. Merchants become storytellers, bearing news and knowledge along with their cargo. Imagine them reclining at night, weaving tales of awe and wonder from lands strange yet temptingly tangible, forging ties across distances that span more than just seas. Yet travel isn't without its trials. The sea, as much a friend as a foe, wields capricious control over these ventures. For each prosperous voyage, sailors must contend with storms, pirates, and the ever-looming uncertainty of the open water. Shipwrecks haunt tales as shadows do dreams, illustrating both the peril and allure of seafaring life. The land routes, though more stable, throw their own challenges at travelers, with bandits lurking along treacherous mountain passes. Historians still argue over the extent to which these dangers curtailed or propelled ancient Greece in its ceaseless quest for exchange and exploration. Whether hindered or made resilient by its trials, the Greek spirit of adventure remains unquenchably bright. Imagine coming across a quirky tidbit as you navigate these arid paths, or salt-kissed Texan ostracon, bearing an etched thank you note for safe travel. A souvenir from a now distant shore, a simple yet impactful reminder of human connection and gratitude. In the complexity of trade arrangements lie the seeds of diplomacy, as alliances and rivalries bloom across the seas. You witness negotiations as they unfurl, processes vibrant and volatile, producing alliances as long-lasting as the ceramic amphoras sailing the Mediterranean's expansive reach. It's a dance of diplomacy and development, where savvy negotiations hold as much weight as the goods exchanged. As the sun lowers in the sky, directing its golden tendrils along the harbor and softly illuminating departing ships, the narrative of trade and travel crystallizes. It speaks of more than mere goods, and profit it conveys tales of perseverance, culture, and transformation. As twilight enfolds the bustling port, you come to understand that every journey resonates with the bold spirit of inquiry and camaraderie, a relentless dance of departure and return that stitches a shared world into a cohesive whole. These voyages, with their promise and peril, continue to cast their shadows of intrigue across the Mediterranean's storied waters. And as the night sky stretches its starlit canvas overhead, you carry forward the whispers of maritime legends and terrestrial trails. The echoes of ancient exchanges linger in your mind, soothing your soul with the promise of discovery and the ceaseless journey toward horizons yet unseen. You drift into a gentle slumber, dreams cresting and falling like waves upon the endless, ever-inviting sea. As the sun climbs above the horizon, casting its warm glow over the ancient hills and temples, you find yourself stepping into the realm of intellectual awakening domain, where inquiry knows no bounds, and the mind, like an uncharted map, beckons exploration. Welcome to the heart of Greece's intellectual pursuits, where philosophy, science, and art converge in a symphony of discovery and wonder. Picture yourself wandering through the storied paths of Athens, where every corner hums with the footsteps of thinkers and dreamers. Here, in bustling agoras and serene groves, the great minds of the time gather curious scholars who seek to unlock the secrets of the cosmos and the workings of the human soul. In this landscape, inquiry is not just encouraged, it is celebrated as the highest of pursuits, a means to illuminate the shadows of ignorance with the bright flame of understanding. Among these intellectual circles, you find the towering figure of Pythagoras, whose mathematical precision and mystical notions weave a tapestry of thought that inspires generations. Imagine the ethereal music of the spheres that he proposes, a celestial harmony resonating through numbers and relationships, a notion that echoes both science and poetry in a seamless dance of logic and imagination. Nearby, in a sun-dappled grove, you might stumble upon a gathering of early astronomers, their eyes turned skyward as they ponder the stars and planets. Here, they trace the celestial movements across the firmament, mapping a world far beyond their own horizons. Their observations sow the seeds for our future understanding of the universe, urging humanity to contemplate its place amidst the cosmic dance. Yet the Earth holds just as much fascination. You'd encounter Hippocrates on the Isle of Kos, offering his insights into medicine as he emphasizes a pragmatic approach to health, a departure from superstition toward observation and study of the human body. His commitment to this pursuit lays the groundwork that will ripple forth through centuries, a testament to the power of curiosity and systematic methodology. Historians still argue over whether these intellectual advances stemmed from innate genius or were driven by the fierce competitive spirit of city-states, each striving for prestige. Regardless of the source, this intellectual blossoming paints Greece as a crucible of innovation where questions beget more questions, each leading to new realms of discovery. Glimpses of curiosity and creativity unfold in quirky tidbits. You might find a philosopher-astronomer fashioning a sundial from a humble stick, the shadows it casts becoming the earliest measure of time. There, curiosity finds expression in unexpected ways, an embodiment of the belief that every facet of the world is waiting to be understood. In the bustle of the city's intellectual heart, dialogues echo and ideas flow like rivers, their currents merging and diverging in ceaseless exploration. Through these intellectual migrations, truth becomes a living entity, shaped and reshaped by minds that dare to dream. As the sun dips toward the horizon, its last rays bathing the world in a soft glow, you marvel at the legacy of this intellectual fervor, a legacy that still resonates in our world. As you reflect upon the interplay of questioning and understanding, the sense of interconnectedness becomes ever more profound, breaking boundaries and uniting disparate disciplines. Night descends, blanketing the landscape in a tapestry of stars, each twinkle a question still unanswered, each constellation a narrative formed. In your mind echoes the spirit of discovery, urging you to continue the conversation with the cosmos, knowing that each step taken forward unveils mystery upon the canvas of infinity. As you drift into a gentle slumber, let your dreams echo with the wisdom and wonder born of such profound inquiry, weaving a luminous path through the corridors of time. The stars above hold silent witness to humanity's enduring quest for knowledge, and in their glow, you find the assurance that the journey of the mind is eternal. As the sun casts its first light over the verdant landscape of ancient Greece, a new chapter in your journey beckons you to the heart of a civilization deeply rooted in the rhythms of the earth. Agriculture. Here, amid rolling fields and sun-dappled vineyards, the Greeks cultivate not only crops, but a profound connection with the world around them, each harvest a reflection of the unyielding dance between nature and humanity. Imagine yourself walking through a patchwork quilt of fields, each row meticulously tended by hands that know the land intimately. In this agrarian world, the cycles of planting and reaping define the tempo of life. Olive trees, their gnarled branches heavy with fruit, stretch toward the sky, while rows of grapevines, laced with morning dew, promise future wine. These are the lifelines of Greek society, a trinity of olives, grapes, and barley, from which sustenance and economy flow. The work is relentless, dictated by the shifting seasons, each dawn ushering in tasks shaped by necessity and tradition. Grecian farmers rise with the sun, swinging their sickles with practiced precision, shearing the golden barley that whispers stories of sustenance. Each kernel holds the promise of bread, the most basic yet essential link in the chain of survival. You can almost feel the sun's warmth upon your back, the earth beneath, solid yet bearing the memory of countless seasons of toil. Yet agriculture in this land is not without its challenges. The soil is often rocky and reluctant, forcing farmers to adapt creative solutions. The terracing of hillsides, a testament to human ingenuity, allows for cultivation in seemingly inhospitable terrain. Imagine the rhythm of hoes striking against stone, breaking ground not just for crops, but for a defiant coexistence where man and earth find mutual resonance. Adding complexity to these labors is the mercurial temperament of the weather. Droughts loom like uninvited guests, threatening fragile crops, while sudden storms wash away days of labor in an afternoon's fury. Superstition and supplication fill the voids of uncertainty, as prayers to Demeter, the goddess of the harvest, seek divine favor and nuance of faith interwoven with practicality. Historians still argue whether agriculture's trials prompted Greek expansion as much as opportunistic conquest, seeking fertile lands beyond their own borders. These outward ventures plant seeds of cultural exchange, where agricultural methods mingle, enriching both host and newcomer. In your travels, you might stumble upon a quirky tidbit. Within some Greek settlements, pigs are employed to hunt out truffle-san age-old partnership of man and animal, with roots running deep into culinary history. It's a reminder that within the agrarian landscape are stories as diverse as the crops themselves, threads of tradition and innovation twining through generations. The kalos kagathos, or the noble and good, resonates here not through martial prowess alone, but through the stewardship of land and community, acknowledgement of human and earth, in shared pursuit of balance and harmony. As twilight fades, casting long shadows across the sown fields, a farmer's whistle echoes a tune to accompany the end of labor and the beginning of repose. Life's pulse, however, continues its eternal rhythm, a testament to the resilience that defines Greek agriculture and the souls engaged within it. With dusk enveloping the landscape, the land breathes with the collective exhalation of nature at rest. You sense the hum of ancient anticipation, each seed tucked gently into soil, whispering promises of abundant futures. As night descends with a cool embrace, you hold to the comforting cycle of seasons and stories, where harvest and hardship are threads of humanity's shared narrative. In gentle descent into dreams, you cradle the understanding that from the earth rise not just crops, but the very essence of culture rooted deep in the heart of existence, and as vast as the stars that softly light the way. As the sun rises once more over the ancient landscape of Greece, its light filters through the olive groves and illuminates the complex web of ideals that define its society. You find yourself drawn into the fascinating paradox of Greek democracy, where aspirations of equality stand juxtaposed with the realities of power and privilege. Here in Athens, the cradle of democracy, where public discourse is as vital as the air itself, you witness citizens engaging actively in the delicate practice of self-governance. Imagine the Agora, buzzing with Debatian open-air arena of ideas, where voices carry the hopes and concerns of a community. Eager citizens gather at the ecclesia, the popular assembly, where matters of state are discussed and decisions determined by the majority. In this dynamic forum, democracy takes tangible form, a living entity sculpted by those it serves. Yet as you delve deeper into this experiment in governance, you encounter its inherent contradictions. For while democracy promises power to the people, its reach is limited, reserved predominantly for freeborn male citizens. Women, slaves, and metics find themselves excluded, their voices echoes in the periphery of decision-making, reinforcing a stark boundary between privilege and voicelessness. It is a democracy that breathes and evolves but does not extend its arms to all. The intricacies of this democratic framework unfold before you, revealing both incredible progress and persistent imperfection. Elections by lot, rather than wealth or birth, attempt to align governance with principles of fairness, embodying a belief in potential from the general populace. Yet there's an irony in the fact that these same systems can succumb to demagoguery, where charismatic orators exploit the fragility of public opinion, steering the demos toward paths of manipulation. As you walk the streets, your attention turns to the courts, another pillar of Athenian life. Here, justice is a public affair, and citizens serve as jurors, tasked with the solemn duty of discernment. Imagine the stern faces gathered in vast numbers to weigh evidence and decree sentences, a people actively engaging in their legal system. Yet again, the line between intentions and execution blurs, with personal biases and persuasive speeches swaying outcomes, making justice an aspiration rather than a consistent reality. Historians still argue whether these democratic pursuits genuinely reflect ideals of equal representation or whether they mask deeper societal hierarchies. Nevertheless, democracy stands as one of Greece's most enduring legacies, a concept that forever alters governance across time. Adding a quirky dimension to the democratic discourse is the phenomenon of ostracism, a peculiar and powerful practice, enabling the populace to banish individuals deemed a threat to stability. This ancient electoral tool acts both as a check on power and a reflection of public sentiment's caprice, highlighting democracy's strengths and vulnerabilities. As the sun begins its descent, casting a mellow glow upon Athens' marble edifices, you reflect on the paradoxes within this democracy, a testament to human ambition as much as to its flaws. It is a system of government where ideals strive toward inclusion but are as yet unfulfilled, a dance of governance that seeks to align power with the people's will. As the shadows stretch and twilight envelops the city, you carry within you a deeper appreciation for the complexities and imperfections of human governance. In this delicate dance between aspirations and reality, you find the thread of democratic evolution, a reminder that true progress requires continual re-evaluation and courage to redefine. As day gives way to the night and stars begin to peek through the gathering darkness, you embrace the reflections of democracy's story, a gentle call to action, an enduring vision that, even in its imperfection, promises the possibility of a brighter, more inclusive tomorrow. And with a heart full of intrigue and contemplation, you drift off into the dreams of democracy, where hopes glisten like starlit constellations mapping the potential of enduring progress. As dawn breaks over the ancient landscape, casting a gentle light across fields and hills, your attention is drawn to an often overlooked facet of Greek life, their relationship with the environment. In a land where natural beauty inspires tales of deities and heroes, the environment both supports and challenges its inhabitants, weaving a complex narrative of coexistence and impact. Walk with me through the rugged terrain and fertile plains, where the Greek people strive to harmonize their civilization with the natural world. The land is a mosaic of mountains, coastlines, and valleys, each offering both bounty and barriers. From the rich soils that cradle olive groves and vineyards to the rocky cliffs that stand as sentinels against the sea, nature here is a double-edged sword, a provider and a punisher. You begin to see how the Greeks harness their environment's potential to shape their lives. The use of terracing transforms steep hillsides into arable land, a testament to ingenious adaptation. Each terrace whispers a story of resilience, a harmonious dance with the earth that defies the limits nature imposes. Amidst these terraces, you marvel at the interplay between human endeavor and natural form, where order and chaos find equilibrium. Yet the Greeks' interaction with their environment is not always gentle. The demand for resources, particularly timber for shipbuilding and construction, leads to deforestation, a shadow of consumption hovering over the landscape. As forests diminish, the effects ripple outward, contributing to erosion and altering ecosystems, a price paid for the forward march of civilization. Consider the quarries where marble is extracted, the sharp clinks and rhythmic thuds revealing the human thirst for beauty and permanence. The marble, transformed by artists into statues and temples, stands as a tribute to human ingenuity but also as a testament to the profound changes wrought upon the land. The sea, too, looms large in the Greek psyche, a highway to adventure and trade, but also an unpredictable force. Its vastness holds both promise and peril, shaping the destinies of those daring to navigate its depths. The Greeks honor Poseidon, lord of the oceans, hoping for his favor as they embark on voyages that could bring riches or ruin. Historians still argue whether the environmental practices of the Greeks were ultimately sustainable, or if they laid the foundations for ecological challenges faced in their successors' times. What remains clear is that the Greeks' legacy is one not only of cultural and intellectual grandeur, but also of a delicate relationship with the world around them. As you wander through these landscapes, a quirky tidbit captures your imagination. Tales of bees being revered not just for their honey, but as symbols of divine messengers, hinting at an ancient understanding of the interconnectedness in ecosystems. Their industrious hum is a song of harmony, illustrating nature's beautiful complexity. As the sun sets and shadows stretch longer across the land, You ponder the legacy of Greece's environmental engagement. It's a narrative as woven with contradictions as the myths themselves, where reverence and resourcefulness meet responsibility and consequence. The night descends, a veil of stars wrapping the earth in quiet contemplation. In this moment, you carry forward the lessons of these ancient landscapes, a reminder of the balance required to sustain both humanity and the natural world. The whispers of leaves, the crash of waves, these sounds accompany you into slumber, offering solace and urging stewardship. As dreams take hold, weaving through history and hope, let them remind you that humanity's story is eternally bound to the earth beneath our feet, inviting us to walk gently and listen closely to the land's timeless, unyielding song. In the first light of dawn, bathing the craggy hills and gentle valleys in a golden glow, you find yourself drawn to the rhythms of feast and famine that define the ebbs and flows of life in ancient Greece. This world, with all its intellectual allure and artistic brilliance, is also at the mercy of nature's caprices, a stark reminder of humanity's vulnerability beneath the veneer of civilization. Imagine a time of abundance, when the harvest bounties arrive in profusion. Fields brimming with ripened barley sway, like oceans of gold under the warm touch of sun, while grapevines bow with the weight of their luscious fruit. In these days of plenty, granaries overflow, and tables groan with generous spreads. You can almost hear the joyful cries of farmers bringing in their bounty, and the merry clatter of pots as kitchens prepare for celebration. Such times of feasting are marked by joyous communal gathering ceremonial meals, celebrating Demeter's blessings, where communities come together to honor the cycles of growth and renewal. Offerings spill forth in gratitude, a poignant acknowledgement of nature's benevolence. Imagine yourself amidst the laughter and music, where roasted meats and fresh bread pass between friends and family, illustrating the bond between sustenance and society. Yet beneath these moments of abundance lies a fragile equilibrium. The Greeks are acutely aware of nature's fickle hand. A single storm or unexpected drought can transmute feast into famine. Imagine the piercing wail of the tempest sweeping through parched fields, withering crops before their time, or the somber silence of skies refusing to surrender rain. The vulnerability of the ancients echoes through time, urging reflection on humanity's eternal dialogue with nature. Even the fiercest warriors and the wisest philosophers stand helpless before the whims of weather and soil. Thus, rituals intensify prayers and sacrifices offered to pacify the gods of harvest and storm alike. You stand amidst the swirling incense at an altar, where a farmer's weathered hands fold in supplication, feeling the urgency pulsating in the air. Historians still argue whether these cycles of plenty and scarcity directly influence societal structures and behaviors. Did scarcity encourage expansion and colonization as communities sought more stable resources, or did it forge resilience born of adaptation and creativity? In exploring these rhythms, you stumble upon a quirky tidbit. During lean times, legends speak of a festival of the mice, where instead of banqueting on delicacies, communities joked about offering meager fare, a nod to the resilience and humor with which the Greeks greeted adversity. As the sun dips and night folds softly over the land, the shadows of feasts past linger, a testament to the joys and tests of subsistence. It is a story of balance, the perpetual dance between abundance and lack that continues to resonate today, reminding you that even amidst plenty, prudence prepares you for the unpredictable. The stars gradually reveal themselves, casting their ancient light over fields resting under the velvet shroud of night. And as you sink into the cadence of sleep, lulled by the night's whispering breeze, let the lessons of feast and famine cradle your dreams, coes of a timeless thread in our shared human narrative. In their gentle embrace, may you remember that in recognizing both nature's power and its poetry, we come to appreciate the intricate balance that lies at the heart of existence, here, reminder to nurture, preserve, and cherish the bounties given, for neither feast nor famine lasts forever, yet both shape the tapestry of life in profound, enduring ways. As the dawn breaks over the timeless land of Greece, bathing the temples and olive groves in gentle morning light, you turn your attention to the medium that shapes expression itself, language. In a world so profoundly defined by discourse and dialogue, the power of language and expression is more than a tool, it is the very fabric that weaves the proceedings of life and thought. Picture yourself amidst the bustling heart of Athens, where language swirls like a living entity, with words as vibrant and alive as the souls who speak them. The Greek tongue carries the weight of culture and philosophy, holding within it the blueprint of Western thought. Every syllable of the fluid and musical Greek language seems to carry echoes of history, illuminating ideas, and binding people together across time and space. Here in the Agora, the resonance of public speakers and orators interlaces with the marketplace's hum, each debate a testament to the mastery of rhetoric. Imagine Socrates engaging a crowd with his probing questions, the wisdom hidden in the simplicity of his queries unleashing a cascade of thoughts. Through their dialogues, Athenian speakers wield words as swords and shields, navigating dilemmas and dissecting truths with the elegance of well-practiced skill. Words are not just utterances, but vessels of persuasion and influence, tools to sway public opinion or argue legal matters decisively. The art of rhetoric becomes an essential skill for politicians and philosophers alike, reflecting a culture where the power of speech holds sway over the citizenry. Aspiring orators spend years in study, perfecting the music of rhetoric. Each pause, intonation, and gesture a calculated move in the dance of discourse. Yet, language here dances beyond logic and laws. Poetic expressions, as captured in the epics of Homer, sing of heroics and heartbreak, weaving mythology into the cultural ethos. The Iliad and the Odyssey introduce not just stories, but characters whose adventures reflect human ambition and frailty, each line carrying the richness of rhythm and emotion to stir the soul long after the page is turned. Historians still argue whether the reverence for language in ancient Greece was primarily a conduit for philosophical advancement or an artistic endeavor that brought beauty into the everyday. In either case, the mastery over language crafted bonds within the city-states and influenced the aesthetics of communication that informs us still. Imbued with a different shade of expression is the wisdom of playwrights like Aristophanes, who delight in satire, using language to parody society's norms and politics with biting humor. In these witty lines, a quirky tidbit emerges. A scene within a disarmingly comedic play might reveal sharp critiques, just as relevant today as they were millennia past. As the day ebbs and the horizon blushes with the hues of dusk, you marvel at how language and expression shape reality. They are the silent architects of culture, building bridges across time through storytelling, rhetoric, and song. In these reflections, the realization dawns that words possess the power to craft new worlds, linking hearts and minds in a united tapestry. With the cloak of night falling gently over the terrain, let these expressions guide your thoughts into reverie, a world where even the quietest whisper or loudest proclamation has its place. In sleep, may your dreams be woven with the ancient wisdom of words, their messages softly threading through the corridors of time and space. As you rest, remember that language is a vessel that carries the essence of humanity's journey. The stories, questions, and declarations continue to ripple outward, embracing the promise of conversation and creativity as eternal beacons along the vast shorelines of history. As the first light of dawn heralds a new day over the ancient expanse of Greece, casting its golden glow over the remnants of a storied civilization, you find your journey reaching its natural conclusion. The curtain begins to fall on this ancient world, rich in tradition, innovation, and enduring lessons, a world that has profoundly shaped the corridors of history and continues to echo in the present. In these last steps, you look back upon a tapestry of people and places, each thread woven with intent and intensity. You recall the pensive philosophers in Athens who dared to question the very essence of existence beneath the shade of the olive trees. Socrates, with his probing dialogue, and Plato, with his profound allegories, linger in the mind's eye, crafting legacies through thought and conversation. Their ideas, like seeds scattered across fertile ground, continue to flourish, inspiring generation after generation. In Sparta, the solemn discipline of warriors stands in contrast to the philosophical pursuits of their Athenian counterparts. The Spartans, with their rigorous training and austere way of life, paint a picture of devotion to unity and strength, a vivid narrative that underscores the omnipresence of honor and resolve in the ancient ethos. The theater, that marvelous spectacle of drama and expression, unfurls the complexities of human nature, offering poignant reflections of joy and sorrow, ambition and defiance. Each performance is a mirror, capturing the theatrical expanse of Greek thought and life, from the comedic brilliance of Aristophanes to the tragic depth of Sophocles. Layered into this history are the tales of everyday citizens, slaves, and artisans, souls who wove their humble stories into the wider fabric of the Greek experience. Their daily labors and personal struggles, often in the shadows of grand narratives, lend perspective and depth, humanizing the tapestry of history with their silent contributions. As you stand at this crossroads of past and present, the enigmatic allure of the gods resonates, a testament to humanity's quest for meaning amidst the stars. The sacred rituals and festivals, the awe of grand temples, reveal a civilization that reached not only for knowledge, but for transcendencia, timeless pursuit that continues to guide and comfort. With modern eyes, you cast a thoughtful gaze upon Greek democracy, with its radical conceptions and inherent flaws. The seeds of self-governance planted those many centuries ago still flourish globally, albeit in varied forms, reminding you of humanity's enduring aspiration for equity and voice. The wind, gentle and whispering of ancient tales, cradles your reflections as the sun begins to set on this voyage through time. Every structure, every shard of pottery, every script on weathered stone carries the indelible mark of human endeavor, the dreams, achievements, and lessons carved intricately into history's narrative. As the gentle embrace of dusk settles over the silent temples and agoras, you take solace in the echoes of this antiquity, a gracious nod to the past, living vibrantly in the ripples of today. You understand now that ancient Greece is not merely a moment in time, but a living dialogue interwoven through the ages, forever whispering its truths and musings into the present panorama. In these quiet closing moments, as the stars emerge and the earth breathes a restful sigh, allow yourself to be cradled by the night. The narratives of Greece, woven into the very fabric of the universe, envelop you in dreams rich with possibility and understanding. Journey now into the realm of sleep, where the stories continue to weave softly, guiding you along the corridors of old and new, distant yet familiar worlds. Sweet dreams,